when you want to see where you're going to get fit, I'm going to repeat this several times this evening, you go to somebody who has all ages, young and old, both sexes, male and female. They've had all kinds of problems. They can be joint, they can be cardiovascular, they can be intestinal, they can be muscular, they can be anything you want that has to do with the physical structure of your body, but they're getting results across the board. If they're young, they're getting them fit. If they're older, they're getting them fit. What's the difference if you take an old person and they're sick and you get them well from taking an athlete at one level and putting them in another? You're doing basically the same thing. You know, Einstein said, if you can't say it simply, you don't know enough about the subject. See, if you're building health in an individual, you're building your body's ability to respond. And if you're building that body's ability to respond, it's going to show up. It doesn't matter what age, what sex, what problem, there's going to be a continuum of results. And those results are going to be steady and ongoing.
I saw people that were professional athletes come on the program. I saw people that were business people. I saw working mothers and stay-at-home mothers come on the program who wanted to make a major change in their life and their health. Some people were gravely sick. Some people just wanted to improve their level of professional athleticism. And either way, the people that were committed to the program had huge changes in their life.
And you just see results. I mean, I've seen older people, like my dad, that have just done amazing. They've really become more fit. There have been other Bert's clients who have had other issues related to maybe you know, not only their weight, but maybe other medical problems that they seem to be doing very well with exercise and Bert's program.
I'm 61 years old, and in working with Bert, he's helped me prepare to climb Kilimanjaro and to take on some mountains in Peru, trekking, and as a matter of fact, that's why I'm working with him at the moment. His workouts are never a routine. He continually assesses the client at every step, looking for signs of progress, and then working in many different ways to maximize that client progress.
Are they going to know what's too much exercise and what too little? And are they going to be able to explain to you when you need a maintenance day? See, your organs don't get larger. You're only able to produce so much. So in the beginning, when you can only use so much resistance and do so much work, you're going to have a draw off your body. And if you're working hard, your heart rate's going to go up. And the next morning, your resting heart rate will be elevated by a certain number, which, can they explain to you why those numbers? And can they tell you when it's ready to go again, when it comes back down? And do they know how to keep the muscle from going backwards in the meantime? Do they know how many days it takes for a muscle to go backwards? Do they know how long you should rest between exercises?
But the most important thing he taught me in the whole thing was the combination of nutrition, which I could never get from a doctor, exercise, which I had physical trainers before, they really didn't know what they were doing, the nutrients or the supplements, which was really missing from my diet because I used to take a vitamin pill, and then the concept of rest and reserve energy. And that helped me tremendously in my performance. Now I practice much less, have a lot more energy and a lot more power, and my performance has increased dramatically.
A lot of people that work out on their own or spend time with a trainer spend hours in the gym. They think that longer is better. And what Bert will teach you on this program is that 20 minutes of properly performed exercise is about all that a person can handle. And when you combine that with about 20 minutes of cardio work, you're going to spend 40 to 45 minutes 3 times a week in the gym. And again, the results are unmatched.
What about time commitment? Do they want your life committed to fitness instead of putting fitness into your lifestyle? They put your lifestyle into fitness? That doesn't work. You know, I won a lot of multiple titles in bodybuilding, and I've trained a lot of professional athletes. And I haven't met a human being yet that can take 20 minutes of proper exercise. Anyone here like to differ with that that's been on my program? We've got a lot of comers here, I'll tell you that. Okay? Now.
Well, when I get up in the morning, you know, I always look at it and I say, gosh, 20 minutes is going to be tough. This is going to be a tough workout. But it's only 20 minutes. And look at all the benefits I get. And I do, you know, 20 minutes is 3 times a week. And then the other days are just maintenance, you know, with the life cycle. So when you look at the amount of time you put into it and the benefits you get out of it, it's just phenomenal. I just can't believe it. Because at one time I used to get on a life cycle for an hour and a half, 2 hours, come off it, and I'd be exhausted. And I'd try to go out and do things, and I'd come home and I'd sleep for 4 hours. So, I mean, what he's done is actually cut back my exercise and made it quality rather than quantity.
Time-wise, I mean, the exercises, I mean, they're very quick, but very effective, very effective. He can, minimize that time, but boy, he maximizes the results.
One of the greatest ways we get people to get involved in changing themselves is to say, if you want to know the best test you can ever take, stand in front of the mirror, take off all your clothes, and if you said, oh no, pick up the phone and call us, or go to www.resultsareproof.com. Okay? So, that's the real swimsuit test, okay? And by the way, when it goes to the supplements, we prefer the expensive urine type of program. Okay, I'd rather have you have 10% expensive urination and have 10% more than what you needed of something, knowing that it will not build up and harm you, than to be 10% shy. Let's say you're 10% shy, just one day. In 10 days, you've lost a day. In 100 days, you've lost 10 days. In a year, you've lost a month. So I believe in expensive urine. And when it comes to exercise, I believe in foreplay. Okay? Not everything all at once, okay? You start out here and you graduate, okay? Until it gets better and better.
The biggest concern that I had before signing up for this program was that I felt, or I am, and I saw myself as an obsessive eater, a compulsive eater, and knew that nothing could deal with that compulsiveness. I mean, not the psychiatrist, not the drugs, not the diet plans that I'd been on, but I found out through Bert that the compulsion was dealt with by maintaining my blood sugar. And as long as I maintained the right blood sugar, I never had any compulsive cravings for food, any. It was like a miracle. It was like a gift from God. So I am a success. I've already reached that point, even though I have another 100 pounds to lose. I'm not even worried about going back because I know I have every tool I need, not just to lose the weight because that's not even important anymore, but I have the tools to be healthy, to stay around for my children and my husband and my grandkids for as long as the good Lord allows that. If I don't get hit by a truck or something, and I truly believe I'm not going to die of a heart attack because of my weight and because of the toxins I'm putting in my body. I just feel really positive about that.
And are they educating you? And do they tell you where to go and look these things up and where to find them? And how to find out more about it? I don't know. What do you think? Think you should be asking these things? It's only your body, it's only your life. It's only your money, it's only your time, it's only your effort wasted.
I've learned a lot, as far as the nutrition in Bert's program. I mean, before I stepped in there, I had no idea. I didn't care to even bother with nutrition, I mean, I cooked 3 meals a day for my children, but I was unaware that the stuff I was cooking it wasn't anything I should have been cooking.
What I've learned through Bert about nutrition, about supplementation, about what to eat and how often to eat it, is something that I will carry forward for the rest of my life. And I know that when I get into old age, I will be a much healthier person than I would have been, and that any member of my family is, because I have learned all the right things I need to keep optimum health forever. And I'm very grateful to Bert for teaching me these things and sharing this knowledge and helping me to become an upright, walking, healthy, happy person once again.
I think that there's absolutely no question that, like myself, Bert's clients reach their goals with knowledge and confidence to incorporate into their to a healthy living style. And in the long run, I think that's all that we can expect from ourselves.
You know that a lot of the cures that they use are harsh. They're surgery, they're poisons, they're different types of drugs that could be replaced with natural things. What would you rather have? The way your body was designed to be built? People ask me what I do. I tell them I believe in the herbs, and I believe in the things that God gave us and the way He created this body. I'm not approved by the FDA, but I'm approved by GOD. Okay? I like those types of methods. I like to see the body fed what it needs to regenerate. to recreate, to respond. I don't like to see it cut. I don't like to see it poisoned. I don't like it to see it received. Now, there are times that these things do work. There should be a blend of these things. But why would you go to someone to cure you who couldn't prevent what happened to you or tell you how you could have prevented it with your diet?
I have a co-worker at the Humane Society whose children, both of her daughters have that attention deficit problem, and putting them on the supplements, the right supplements, has helped them. Another co-worker at the Humane Society had a stroke in her back, and Bert's program has worked miracles with her. She's walking. Her muscles are improving. It's like she's a different person, and she's really happy with herself. I mean, everybody I know that's come here has left. They aren't always happy with what Bert tells them, but they've always left feeling better and knowing that they're healthier because of it.
What does the body dictate? I don't care about think, feel, or believe. Remember, what are the facts? What does the body's needs dictate? So let's go back over this. It has to have priorities, no problematic causes, has empirical proof of all phases, it educates, it evaluates, it predicts, and it refers.
When I first came to see Bert, he predicted that my nutrition was lacking, my supplementation was lacking, and what the supplements and the food would do. And I found that preposterous. I thought, I'm eating well, I'm on a pretty good balanced diet, and before this happened to me, I was working out, so how could I be lacking in nutrition? And with 1 week on the supplements, I noticed a huge difference. He predicted what kind of workout I needed to start with and what would happen. Bert talked about the electrical muscle stimulation, how that would help me. I really didn't hold much hope out for that, but it happened. Bert was able to predict all along the course of my rehabilitation what would happen each workout, what I'd be feeling, what my heart rate would be, what my strength would be like, and he was able to personalize my rehabilitation, my workout programs, tailored exactly to what my body needed at what time to provide the optimum results. And Bert was just able to it was amazing to me that he was able to predict every single thing that would happen and anticipate what the next step would be weeks ahead of where I even had a clue.
Do they know that multiple sets are wrong? Oh, you didn't know that multiple sets are wrong? Let me tell you something. Let's say you're doing an exercise and you're doing 10 repetitions and you set it down. Why should your body change? You've worked within your existing state of capability. But if you push that 11th rep and you couldn't quite get it, and you try to push a 12th rep, now you've pushed your body beyond its momentary existing state of ability. Do you need to do another set? No! Why should you overstress the body? What about split routines? This is one I love. Oh, I work my upper body today and my lower body tomorrow. I go, well, do you feed your upper body today and just your lower body tomorrow? And you just sleep that part too? My body's a whole unit. Shouldn't I work it all at once, then feed it all at once, then sleep it all at once? I don't know, you know. I used to tell people if the average bodybuilder's IQ was 2 points higher, he'd be a plant. But I think that's too much credit. Now, I was one of those guys, I'm here to tell you. Problematic causes. Can they tell you what's good and bad in a diet? Can they tell you what foods are good to combine, bad to combine, which supplements and why, and how come they're different? And what kind of herbs you should use and what they're for and what condition it is? Can they tell you how to prepare your foods and how much food and when to eat? Can they tell you what effects specific foods have and supplements, and do they prove them to you? We do. Gee, how often should I take them and why and how come and what's a better source and how much is too much to pay and all the rest of those kinds of things. Number 3, empirical proof. Not studies, not think, not feel, not believe, or I know, or we had somebody that when people come to us for a fitness program, one of the first things I do is don't even talk to me till you go to my website. Learn about what we do. Then if you like what you see, come in and talk to us. We don't even pull out at all a contract. We sit down and talk to people 1 to 2 or 3 hours. Some people have been back 4 and 5 times. I tell them if you go to another fitness program, go ahead and call us up and ask us questions. We'll tell you where to go find the answers. Then after that, they come in. I have them talk to the clients. Maybe you should try that. Look at their information. Go in, sit down and talk to them, and tell them you'd like 10 clients to talk to. where they're not around. Old ones, new ones, whatever. They don't have anything to hide, they'll open it up to you. Okay? And when you get that empirical proof, let's talk about things like their blood chemistry, you know, how their structure changed, how they did their measurements. One of the things that you can be sure of when you're looking for empirical proof, we always tell people this: you take your resting heart rate, you take your blood pressure, you get your blood test, you take your pictures, you take your measurements, you come in and get a body composition test, and we'll give you a strength test and give you a copy of it, and then you do it every 3 weeks. Now we're either nuts for doing that, or we're real sure that we're going to see something happen with you.
In the first month I was with Performance Fitness Systems, I lost 27 pounds of fat and I gained 20 pounds of muscle. And my resting heart rate dropped from 63 down to 50. It was especially important for me to get those kind of fast results because as a videographer, my job requires me to follow some of the best hunters in the world in some of the most difficult terrain in the world. Not only do I have to keep up with these hunters, I have to exceed what they can do because I have to get different angles from in front of them, behind them, and I have to do that carrying a lot of heavy equipment on my back. 6 weeks after I started with Bert, I found myself in Colorado with altitudes exceeding 12,000 feet, and what amazed me is that the altitude didn't even affect me that much. To put it simply, I think that working out with Bert and being on the program made my job fun again.
You're cautioned to read everything specifically. We tell you exactly how to lay out your diet and the things that you're going to be doing in the future. We talk about the consistency. We talk about our policies. We talk about our procedures. We talk about how to build a lifestyle. We talk to you about why most programs fail. We talk to you about how to make sure you're going to win. We talk to you about the types of exceptions that are acceptable and not. We talk to you about the effects of diet and exercise and how it's going to change. We talk to you about the need for balance, the factors of balance, the blueprint on how to put all these things together for better understanding, body composition and all the factors, including intake and maintaining your body composition. We talk about the instructions for measurements and the specifics of it, and your photographs. We talk about your resting heart rate. We talk about the effects and causes of that heart rate. We talk about weight training and what the variables are as far as your caloric intake. We talk to you about thoughts on supplementation and the scheduling and why and how it should progress. We tell you what they do and how much and how often. We talk about water and the importance in protein supplements. We talk about complete and incomplete proteins, priorities for food utilizations, the timing of your food consumption, and how your blood sugar should be balanced. By the way, is your blood sugar going to be balanced? We have diabetics that come to us and we balance their blood sugar within 48 to 72 hours. It's between 80 and 125 within 48 to 72 hours. I don't care who you are. Okay? And if they know what they're going on, and if they know what's going on, and they know what you need to have done, they're going to make sure that your blood sugar is going to be balanced. Because if your blood sugar is not balanced, and it drops too low, you're going to go into starvation mode and store your food the rest of the day. And if it goes too high, you're going to be storing. And if you hit a sticking point and someone can't break it, you're on the wrong program. They don't know what they're doing. Okay? Meal spacing instruction for that blood sugar balancing, food combining, cleansing why and how, the specifics of your diet and how you might change them and how to eat on the run, the diet logging, and how you do your food preparation and how you do your shopping, food selection, and your logging, so that when you're done with your dietary program, you will have a blueprint for the rest of your life and all the corrections in there, so you know what to do and what not to do, so you won't have to put up with somebody looking over your shoulder, but you'll have a blueprint for yourself for life. If you're not getting these things, where is the health in your fitness program?
You know, the only other aspect I wanted to mention is that, you know, Bert can be, you know, he's tough. He has to be tough in this program, but he really is a genuine human being.
One time I wrote him a letter. That was last year on my birthday, June 26th. I told Bert, I told him that I entrust my soul to the Lord, and I entrust my body to Bert for rejuvenating my body. That was a year after that I had started. And I told him that when I was 66 years of age, I felt old. Now I'm 67 and I feel young. He kind of got a kick out of that. But I really want to say that I never thought that this change was gonna happen to me with Bert, and it did. And I really appreciate everything he's done for me.
When someone comes into the gym and they start training with him, there is a transformation physically, and the right word's not emotionally, and it's not really spiritually, but their whole being changes. They become, you see it in the females that walk in who came in kind of timid, and same with the guys that come in, they're kind of timid. And after they work with them and they see the results and they see what's possible, typically because they're so frustrated with all these different diets they've tried and these different trainers with little or no results. They spend all this time in the gym and they eat little portions of food. They come into that gym, and after a week or two, you start to see them transform physically, obviously, but also they walk in, they walk different, they're taller, they're more confident, their jobs are better, their family lives are better, their self-esteem is much higher. And that's one of the biggest benefits about the whole program, is it's not just about going to the gym and working out, it's about improving your health and improving the way you look and improving the way you feel. And for me personally, with the health problems that I've had, it's like money in the bank for me, knowing that I'm going to live longer and be around to take care of my wife and my family and be around my kids a lot longer. And so that's one of the reasons why I go, especially when it gets hard, because when he does push you, or when you had bad days where you didn't follow the diet properly, or you go on a trip and you can't quite eat right, you start to challenge yourself, how do I do it better? What leads me to challenge myself is that I want to be around for my family over a longer period of time.